Hello and welcome to this next video tutorial. Today is all about writing hooks. What is a hook? Well, a hook is simply a first sentence of your essay. It is a sentence that's supposed to get the viewer to want to read more, which is pretty much your introduction. Your introduction is going to talk mostly about what your thesis is going to argue. I'm going to send each and every one of you this link later on along with your assignment. And I would like you guys to take note of this really awesome bookmark, which has 7 different types of hooks with very detailed explanation. So this is a cheat sheet that you guys can use. And if you really want to read a little bit on each one of these, there's not only a detailed explanation, but examples on what different types of hooks are. So before I put those into practice for you, I just wanted to show you where hooks are present today. Because it's not just essays that get hooks. It's also newspapers and movies. So for example, if I click on a movie article, as you can see here, what stands out the most? What does stand out the most is this particular title, Strive to be Influenced by Divine Mind. Now, I don't know if many of you guys do read newspapers, but typically when we're shifting through papers and pages, this is the first thing that jumps out at every single reader, the title. Now, if this is a really good hook, I'm going to want to read at least the first paragraph of this article to see if it's interesting. Okay. So this is an example of what you would see here as a statement or a strong statement hook. Okay? So newspaper articles will look at this particular one or this particular one, a question that will get the reader to want to read. Movies are really awesome, and I'm going to show you guys Mr. G's most popular movies. Here's Back to the Future 3. I really love this one. So here we have Back to the Future 3. And where do you guys think you notice a hook? Well, number one, the hook is in the image. Okay, you're supposed to be drawn to the image here, and if you have a little bit of time, you find out first of all who's in the movie, and then right below is the title or the hook. So it says they've saved the best trip for last. ... But this time they may have gone too far. Again, which strategy do you think this movie is utilizing? Is it a strong statement? Is it a metaphor or simile, description, story, or fact? Okay. It could be number 5. It could also be number 2. Okay. It's supposed to leave you hanging and, hey, see the movie to really, really see if they've gone too far. My next favorite film is The Goonies. I don't know if anybody has seen it before. But again, drawn to the image is the hook. And then we have on the top right, they call themselves the Goonies, the secret caves, the odd lighthouse, the lost map, the treacherous traps, the hidden treasure, and sloth join the adventure. Okay, so again, this could be a description hook. So for example, a vivid description of a scene or setting that will draw your readers into your writing. So for example, if I'm interested in the lost maps or the treasure traps, any one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options could get you interested in watching the film. So these are just 3 simple examples of what hooks are and what they're meant to do. Now let's take a look at some practice. Here we go. So as you remember, my essay is all about the statement, "It's too sunny to drive." So I've utilized 4 different examples of how to write a hook. In this case, I've started with a quote. "Let the sun shine in, just not at all times. When driving, having the sun in your eyes could be just one of those moments where the sun should not be in." Okay? Should put that when the sun should not be in. All right. So this is an example of a quote. Notice I started with a quote here, "Let the sun shine in." And then I followed it up with some statements to explain the quote. I've also used could. That is a subjunctive, which means technically I should not be using that. in an essay. But because it's a hook, I'm trying to draw you in. I'm simply saying it could be, but if you keep reading the essay, that could be is going to become is. Next is a question. Is a sunny day always great? Apparently not to drivers. Starting off with a question, following it up with a statement. Another one is the sun is not always good for people when it comes to driving. A strong statement. Okay, and the last thing here, driving with the sky clear on a sunny day may not be as beautiful as you imagine. So this is utilizing a story or a narrative to draw the reader in. Notice that my hook is not very specific. It doesn't require any sort of examples or backups. It's simply getting you guys to want to read more. So hopefully this was helpful for you in seeing what a hook does and what a hook is. Please read that article carefully, and if you have an opportunity to print that bookmark, print it out, have it with you, because it will help you in your future writing. For this weekend, you only need to write one sentence, and that is a hook. Pick one out of the 7 possible strategies for a hook. Make sure that your research is done. You should be able to, at this time, know what you're writing about, what you have researched, what information you have to make this process easier. I will also be sending a rubric and a very detailed explanation on what's